Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token ADA. If you guys like the content, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. If you do want to earn interest on your ADA, remember to check out the ITC2 stake pool. We also have the ITC stake pool as well. And if you're unfamiliar with how to navigate that, remember you can go to staking.intothecryptoverse.com, click on Cardano, and we talk about how you actually go about doing that, okay? So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. Now, ADA, right now, it might not seem like it, but it's actually below its 20-week SMA. And you might wonder, well, is this surprising? I don't really think it's that surprising given the fact that Bitcoin dropped below its 20-week moving average a while back. Okay, Bitcoin dropped below its 20-week moving average and is about 30-something% or so below it. Ethereum's below its 20-week moving average and below the 21-week EMA, just like Bitcoin. Right now, ADA's sort of below the 20-week SMA, but above the 21-week EMA. Now, ADA is holding up extremely well, okay? And I cannot understate that enough. I mean, it's hard to really fully elucidate how impressive that is, because a lot of altcoins have taken really big hits, not only against their USD valuation, but against their Bitcoin valuation and against their Ethereum valuation. And I imagine that if you bought ADA at 250, it probably doesn't look so great, watching it be at $1.35. With that said, the amount of time that ADA was at 250 was very, very short period of time. And most people have had ample opportunity to accumulate ADA at lower prices than where we even are today. But even if you haven't, it is fairly impressive that ADA it's at levels right now that it's higher than a lot of levels from March, April, and May. At least maybe not May. We're sort of at the level that we started May at. But this is fairly impressive, okay? And I think that one of the things that might be contributing, again, is the amount of ADA that is currently staked, okay? Now, a significant amount of the supply of ADA is currently staked. And I think what may be going on, is people are earning interest on their ADA. And remember, we have the ITC stake pools. There's plenty of other stake pools you can join as well. I mean, I would like you to join mine. But what's more important is that you just earn interest somewhere, right? Like if you don't want to go stake with me, just stake it somewhere else. I don't really care. Just make sure you're earning interest on your ADA. There's a lot of small stake pools that could always use some support as well. So make sure you're earning interest on your ADA. And then when prices are moving sort of up and down, you look at it and you're like, well, there's an opportunity cost, right? There's an opportunity cost to go sell your ADA. What is that opportunity cost? Well, you stop earning the interest, okay? And if you were to operate in a deterministic manner and assume that ADA is going to go to higher prices, then what happens in between is somewhat irrelevant, okay? It's somewhat irrelevant, right? I mean, if it goes to $1, if it goes to $1.50, if it goes to 60 cents, if it goes to $2. If the idea is to just sort of have this passive income stream for years to come, then what happens during this price discovery mode is somewhat irrelevant. And I've said this before. I think a lot of people, more people than are currently doing it, need to be taking advantage of setting up a system in which they can earn interest on their crypto. And the reason I say that is because a few years from now, I sort of envision, maybe more than a few years, but a little bit later on in this decade, I envision the level of price discovery is going to obviously calm down. Okay, there's still going to be price discovery, but volatility will probably continue to reduce over time, at least macro level volatility. And the people that get into these projects early and sort of just blindly accumulate, say, to hell with the price in the short term, we don't care. We're just sort of looking to set our future self up with a passive income stream. And you got ADA coming in at around 5.5% APY. This is a fairly attractive interest rate, especially compared to traditional finance. And I mean, one thing you could do, I'm not saying I do this because I don't, but one thing you could do is you could keep your principal ADA and maybe take profits on the interest that's earned if you want some type of like passive income. If you don't want or to tell you, if you need the income to say pay your bills or something. If you don't need that, then right, you can then use the interest to sort of just continue to compound, right? So you earn interest on the interest that you make. So, you know, when you couple these things together, I think it does make for a compelling case of why ADA is performing relatively well given the circumstances. Also note that there was a tweet put out today by Grayscale, in fact, and they said, "Welcome aboard Cardano." So they're finally adding the racehorse. We have adjusted the portfolio of Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund to now include ADA, which maybe this is partially responsible for the nice little price appreciation of ADA today. You can see that it's up about a modest 1.35%. Funny because it's currently at $1.35 on the day, up about 3.26% on the week. You might say, well, Ben, like, you know, who in the world gets out of bed for 3.5%? No one really. No one's getting out of bed for 3.5%. But when you look at it, I mean, Bitcoin's up 1.38%. Ethereum's actually up a lot. And you might say, well, how does that compare to ADA? I mean, ADA's only up 3.5%. Ethereum's up 11.74. Well, again, you just go look at the ADA Ether valuation and you say, you know what? Yeah, maybe this week it's coming down a little bit. Still doing relatively well. I mean, we're still higher than the prior local tops that we talked about for years on the channel. We're still at valuations of the ADA Ether valuation that are higher than that. So you cannot really understate it's hard to really imagine that ADA is doing as well as it was. I mean, as well as it is. If you had told me a few weeks ago that we'd still be chilling at $1.35 with Bitcoin at $33,000 and Ethereum at $2,000, $2,100, I've been like, wow, that's really impressive. And it goes to show you the importance of spending the time initially to figure out which projects will stand the test of time, which one is the racehorse for the market cycle, which one will be around, okay? And I get it. There's tons of FUD about it. Like, you know, I've heard it all before, smart contracts, etc. Again, it's basically like, you know, you're investing in, it's sort of like a startup, right? You don't whine about what they don't have during a phase that they were not meant to have it. You invest in the project if you believe in where it's headed in the future, okay? Not necessarily where it is today. And hopefully sooner rather than later, you know, smart contracts will be out and we'll hopefully be able to see the ecosystem thrive. But anyways, you know, the downside risks are always there. Obviously, we said during a bull market, the downside risk is the 20-week SMA. Right now, if you define the bull market as I do, whether we're above the 20-week or below the 20-week for Bitcoin, right now we're below it. So the market is somewhat bearish. Again, this is just a simple definition, right? The market is somewhat bearish right now. That doesn't mean we can't come out the other side. I mean, maybe we spend some time at these levels for several months, maybe the rest of the year. I don't really know. But I just simply defined it as, you know, if this is green, it's bullish. If it's red, it's bearish. Right now it's red. So the market's somewhat bearish, meaning altcoins have a much taller order right now because they're fighting against a bearish Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin's all the way back down here. Again, this is the natural log of the price over the 20-week SMA. Might be somewhat interesting to see what this looks like for ADA, actually. So you can see this is what it looks like for ADA, and you can say, well, why is it still green? ADA is below the 20-week. It's still green as long as it's above the 20-week or the 21-week EMA. Either above the 20-week SMA or above the 21-week EMA, it remains green. So ADA still looks, I mean, right now, we're still above the 21-week EMA. Is that going to hold? There's a decent chance it won't, especially if Bitcoin continues to act somewhat bearish. But note that it's still holding despite the fact that Bitcoin and Ethereum are both below their own 21-week EMAs. And you know, if you go look at the ADA Bitcoin valuation, we continue to be sort of at prices where the local top in April of 2018 was. So in the grand scheme of the market cycle, you guys know my beliefs. I think this cycle is going to be longer. I don't think that, you know, I don't think that everything's just going to end in 2021 because the last cycle was 4 years, especially if you go back even further and recognize that the cycle before the last one was even shorter and then the cycle before that one was even shorter. Therefore, you would expect this one to get longer. Perhaps some people are going to sell a lot of their crypto at the end of 2021 because they've been told that that's when the market cycle is going to end. And while there's a chance that it does, we don't, you know, I mean, it probably depends on what the market does between now and then. I would say that, if you do that, you are potentially missing out on just keeping that well-oiled machine running and earning interest on your crypto. So, I just wanted to do a brief update on ADA. It's having a relatively decent day today, currently trading at around $1.35. A lot of things are coming for ADA this year, so I am very, very excited about that. We will see where the rest of the year takes us. Remember, if you guys want to earn interest on your ADA, go check out the ITC stake pools. You can find information about that by going to staking.intothecryptoverse.com. You'll find a link to that in the description below. We also have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com if you want to know how I'm navigating these markets. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Let's go for 500,000 subscribers. Click the bell icon to turn on your alerts, and I will see you next time. Bye.